The continuous exit of young professionals in the health sector for greener pastures abroad has been blamed for negatively affecting Nigeria's effort at controlling the malaria scourge. According to National Coordinator of the Civil Society in Malaria Control, Immunization and Nutrition, migration of trained professionals to other parts of the world causes a drain on the huge investment made over the years to revitalize Nigeria's health sector. Well, joining us to discuss this is Arise news analyst Kayode Otitoju. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I had to check in my head if it was morning or afternoon. Of course, with the advent of COVID, the demand for health workers went up significantly. I'm just wondering, with the numerous array of choices that has led to this demand, what can we do to actually keep it at a sane percentage, the number of health workers that we still were able to retain in the country?
Well, just like any other sector, when you train people, you must evolve means of retaining them. When the condition of service is not okay, once the infrastructure to work with are not there, once the morale is not being boosted, then people will like to, Japan. That is the word to use. So in the health sector, the problem is more because the payment for, a salary, the remuneration to health workers in Nigeria is one of the lowest in the world. An average nurse, not even doctor now, in the US, earn as much as, $60,000 per annum as even starting point. So even in India, where the population is so high, the remuneration is still much, much better than Nigeria. So you see people who are supposed to engage in primary health care, apart from the family, because primary health care starts from the family, that is how you take care of prenatal, antenatal, then government, local government, community, having health centers, There are people to still man this place. Though the ratio of nurses to doctor may still be 1 doctor to 50 nurses, okay? But the problem now is the doctors are leaving. There was a time when, at this hotel in Abuja, I think whether it's UK or US that came to recruit.
I recall.
And so many doctors were ready to go. Before government took concerted effort to stop it abruptly, over 50 doctors had already been assisted through immigration and through visa. You get my point? Mm-hmm. So we can't have the little health infrastructure we have so far and still find it difficult to have good hands to man it. And what should government do? Well, even in employment of doctors into federal hospitals, okay? You see that they tend to use national character, whereas the section that have the major concentration of doctors in terms of training, both the facilities and whatever, is more or less skewed towards a certain region. So when you are using national character, it means that there will be overproduction in an area, while there will be underproduction in the other area. So where people after being trained, they can't get employed. They move out, and we have what we call a brain drain. So it's really happening. So government has to be sensitive, just like what happened in Britain, yesterday, where they have to reverse their tax. Once you are sensitive to the people, you will always make adjustments that can retard such exodus.
Speaking to those sensitivities, I want to get deeper into that because the National Coordinator of the Civil Society in Malaria Control, Immunization and Nutrition commented, of course, on how this brain drain in the health sector is affecting the control of malaria locally. However, you look at something like malaria, a disease like malaria that has hundreds of billions of naira donated through various medical funds, AIDS, NGOs, and so forth. Annually, there's money that flows into the country for the very purpose of making sure that malaria is controlled. However, what is happening? Is it that some of these funds are not reaching the relevant health departments, the relevant federal hospitals, so that why is there no correlation between the amount of money that's being brought in, let's say for malaria, to be specific, and the fact that no doctors and nurses are being retained or are being cushioned by the hundreds of billions coming in?
You see, the money comes mainly in terms of aid, not in terms of physical cash. I could remember about, even before COVID, there was this popular, campaign on use of treated mosquito net. And millions of mosquito nets were injected into Nigeria, and they were being distributed. Okay? These are part of the aid, not that the physical cash will come. Okay? Even when physical cash comes, okay, does it assist in raising the living condition or working condition and even the take-home pay of the health workers? No. People still see, doctors being under grade level wards, just as you have in other sector. So, for instance, doctors will like to work in private hospitals where the pay is better and the condition of service is okay. And even when they are not in private sectors, they will like to work in the medical section or of parastatals, where the pay too, is higher and the condition of service is okay. And but when we talk of parastatals and engagement of skilled workers, Nigeria is the worst in terms of using right peg in right holes, based on political, and whatever. So, in the end, you find that actually you have all these things coming in terms of AIDS, in terms of whatever, but the people to really do it, even at community level, because healthcare is more of community thing. People must be educated at community level, how to handle immunization at the, you must educate, you must educate the people. Child mother education, even things that could pose health problem, like water, like sanitation and whatever. Money, it should assist this in how people manage their waste, like the lawman in Lagos, for instance, that takes the waste from dustbin and what also, and clearing the street and gutter, all these things that can pose health problems. So, the money could be used, but is the money being used The budgetary system, is it the type that gives room for accountability? You know, these are...
I'm very curious, though, Mr. Otitoju, because when it comes to what other elements that are frustrating malaria control, of course, the United Nations has disclosed that there's a new, what's the word here? Species of mosquitoes. That's yes. I think it goes by Anopheles stevensii, and even though it was discovered a decade ago. Of course, it was also a decade ago on the continent. It was discovered primarily in Nigeria 2 years ago, and this one is actually resistant to all the traditional, forms of treatment and control, and it thrives in urban areas. That's one aspect. The other aspect is the surge in price of malaria, medicine, the drugs. These are also factors that might also be contributing to, not getting malaria under control. Do you think that maybe there might be too much attention going in the direction of brain drain at the expense of other issues like this?
Well, the brain drain must be tackled. Because even when you are talking of new species of Anopheles or whatever, mosquito, the doctors, the health centers, through the teaching hospital, are the people who do the research and know the type of medication that can cure the new, is it hybrid or species or what have you? But where the people are even to handle the conventional medicine, know enough hand to do it. Talking less of research. So the problem, the brain drain is still very germane to whatever level of control or solution you are talking about. Because in the end, if the doctor is not participating directly, it must be participating remotely, either in terms of consultation, recommendation, and working together with the pharmaceutical companies that produce the drugs. Now, in terms of the cost of controlling malaria, yes, the net was there and was distributed throughout the 774 local governments in Nigeria, and it was everywhere. But when it gets to personal level, it still depends on your socio-economic level to know whether you have money to buy shelters or mosquito fleet, okay? Why the poor people will go on mosquito coil because of the cost. Mm-hmm. People like you and could afford other
mosquito repellent
and whatever. So, and that is why education, how to use, because even the repellent, you can't just fleet it in a room where mm-hmm. you have less than 3-month child. Okay, no matter how you think the effect is not good. So you must still be taught through education in the health centers that are everywhere. Everywhere doesn't mean that it's enough. Like what constitutes a local government in terms of population in Nigeria, okay? You have 4 primary health centers in UK, where you are having only 1 under control of maybe a local government. So it's not enough, but at least we are not totally, devoured of basic health centers for primary health care.
All right. Well, there's a lot to dissect. I think this is a whole doctorate on its own, this topic. But Mr. Otitoju, thank you so much for shedding more light on that.